I think it's definitely a foundational piece that people should pay attention to. It seems like a little thing at first, but it almost becomes everything in the end.
Yeah.
Or throughout your relationship and your growth and stuff. And so, I think it's a really good topic.
Yeah, so just to roll it out, we're going to talk about consistency and how important is consistency in marriage.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you know the importance of it until like you're in a marriage or in a relationship with someone and they are inconsistent. What's your thoughts?
Yeah.
How important is it to you for me to be consistent? And I'll answer that as well.
Okay. Well, I would have to say, because consistency covers so much ground, like there are so many little pieces that consistency plays a part in. I think it's very important. I would have to say that in our marriage, it's been a vitally important piece.
Yeah.
Just as you as an individual being consistent, me as an individual being consistent, I think it makes the whole marriage flow. Actually, I think that's why I say it's a very big foundational piece, because it does end up being very important. And I think you can see this even before you marry somebody.
Okay.
You know?
Okay, we're gonna get into that, but that's good to know. Like that you can actually see red flags, like in the dating process, and you can say, you know, I may not want to be with this individual because they're just inconsistent. So why? Why is inconsistency? Because for me, it's important to me as well.
Yeah.
I like you to be able to deliver when you say something, to do it. I want you to be, like you said, it's a broad.
Yeah, it covers a lot. It covers a lot.
I'm talking about meeting times, being punctual. I'm talking about if you say you're going to do something, do it. Just get a rhythm in your life, that I can depend on. It's reliable. It's a mainstay. I know that Helena is doing a particular thing because she is always doing what she said she was going to do. That's what it means to me. It builds trust, right? Like it builds up trust when it comes to consistency, because I can trust, again, bringing that word reliable, you're dependable, and so I think it's paramount. I think, like you said, I think it's a foundational piece, because I always have this saying about relationships. Obviously, you have love, you have communication, but the key is trust. Because I can love you and I can communicate with you, but if I don't trust you, I'm going to be constantly skeptical of what you're saying when you communicate. When you love me, I'm got a side eye. I'm wondering what's going on. So it's important to me. But why is it?
So you're equating consistency, like consistency or the lack of consistency either strengthens or erodes trust.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I
can see that.
If I can't depend on you, then come on.
Yeah.
Like it's gonna, no matter if you're attempting to or not, you can be a great person. I can love you dearly. You can be super sweet, right? And being sweet, you can, you can speak soft, you can be beautiful, but if I can't trust you, and over again, you brought up the word erode. You've eroded. You've eaten from the inside out. You've eaten up my trust by not being consistent. I can't rely on you. I can't depend on you. Like, you say one thing and you do another.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Or you always saying you're going to be on time. This is a big thing for me. I think, and this is a segue for me getting into, can consistency be an overkill or killjoy while being in a relationship with someone? Tell me about your experience. Tell everyone about your experience with me, because I have this thing. I say I'm ridiculously consistent, And I don't think that I'm like just self-promoting myself. I just think that over the years, there's something I've learned about myself, and someone has told me that as well. So can you talk about like possibly being an overkill or a killjoy?
Yeah. Well, I think that, like I said, because consistency is so broad and it covers so many areas, I think that there's areas where your consistency, I'm dependent on it 110%. And it's not annoying, you know. But there are times when you being consistent, I feel like it's too intense.
I don't know why I feel I'm smiling about this.
Right, like you're so
I'm like getting excited about
you're so happy that you annoy me now.
No, I don't want to annoy you, but it's just
I'm like, you are literally over there overjoyed that it annoys me.
I don't attempt to. It's just it's like I can't get rid of it.
Right.
You know, one of the things that I think I have like a paranoia of being inconsistent because my life was that way before I came to Christ.
Yeah.
About 21 years ago, I was an addict, and you know, I was inconsistent. You couldn't rely on me. You know? And so if it even comes close to looking inconsistent, I like get paranoid. So I just overdo it.
Yeah.
Unintentionally. I'm definitely not trying to annoy you, but you say
I think because like, say for an example, on time, being on time. I'm not like just a person that's just gonna be late all the time, mosey in whenever I get there. I value people's time and I value my time, right? But I mean, this man is like, but having said that, I value my time, I value people's time. If I give a 5-minute grace. You know, I give a 5-minute grace. I don't feel like the sky is falling if we're 5 minutes late, you know. Now anything over that is like, okay, that's not respecting time. But for him, it's like it can't be 30 seconds over the time.
Well, I think 15 minutes before is on time. Like I was supposed to be over here at 2. I want to be here at 1:45.
Yes.
You know, that's in my mind.
Yeah.
You know, I can already know where this comes from, right? In my mind, I'm thinking 1:45 is on time.
Yeah.
If I'm coming in 5 minutes before, I'm like, this is not cool. You know?
Right, and I don't mind being 5 minutes after.
Yeah.
So it does balance out because, I mean, obviously, I don't want to make a practice of being late. That's disrespectful and irresponsible. In my opinion, I do believe that, you know. So I don't ever want to make a practice of being late, but I also don't, I mean, he's literally racing. Okay, so he'll put it on maps, and maps tells you an ETA, right?
Yeah.
The map driving app. Does that make sense? Anyway.
I'll put the address in the map of where we're going.
Right.
Right.
And it tells you an ETA.
Right.
And he's trying to beat the ETA time.
Absolutely. Does everyone do that?
And I
thought that was the whole goal.
I feel like I value my life. Like I feel like I value my life.
That was the goal.
And now, I mean, not for me. The goal for me is I want to arrive in one piece. Like I don't want to get there via an ambulance or whatever. But and that's the extreme I go to. Like, are you trying to crash? Like, why are we? But anyway, in those times, your level.
So are you trying to say I need to get my driving saved?
Perhaps.
Okay.
Perhaps.
Okay.
But in those times, your level of consistency. I mean, even though it does annoy me, but it's not like to the point where it's just like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna flip the table. This is getting on my nerves. You know, not like that.
So for ladies, it just what?
It just I don't see why we have to be at that level of intensity. Like you're on a 10 when it comes to that kind of little thing all the time. And I just feel like
I'm on 10 all the time, pretty much.
Right.
You know, and that's just part of my makeup. But I was about to ask. I didn't mean to interrupt you. I was about to ask for ladies that are out there dating or even in a relationship. That's about to take the next step, engagement, getting married. Would you tell them, even though that annoys you or whatever, like you probably would rather overlook being annoyed and have a consistent man? Like what would you tell a lady, like if they had some type of annoyance because their man is like just, oh my God, always on time, everything's always on point, you know?
Yeah.
What would you tell a lady that bothers her?
I would probably, I mean, for me, I'm going to just tell you how I feel about it. I feel like the benefits totally outweigh my annoyance with it. You know, like I definitely would much rather you be a ridiculously consistent man than a ridiculously inconsistent man. Yeah, 1,000 times. Do you, boo? Like if that, you know, this is who you are. I totally see the benefit of that, and I do not want to experience the repercussion of you not being consistent. You know, I feel like, does it annoy me sometimes? Yeah. You know, is it sometimes like, okay, golly, do we always have to be just in a rush, or does it always have to be so intense? I think that does annoy me, and I do have those thoughts, but I would rather live with you in this consistent way than to ever know you in an inconsistent way. And I know I said that several times over, but that's just how emphatically important it is to be consistent. Now, one of the areas that I feel like I benefit the most from your consistency is your consistent seeking God. You're consistently wanting to know God's will for your personal life, for our family and marriage, for our ministry, because we are ministers. We have a church and a recovery home center for men who struggle with addiction. And I feel like the fact that you're consistent is what has helped build our ministry to what it is now. And I feel like that has been a super major segue for God to be able to do what he wants to do through us, you know. And I believe that if I don't know that God can, because we're Christians and we live from a biblical worldview, and our whole lives are basically surrendered to God's will for our lives. And I don't think that God could do all that he wants to do through us if we just kind of lived in a kind of haphazard, inconsistent, I'll be there tomorrow. Oh, well, maybe not. Oh, I'm coming next week. Yeah, I'm going to get involved in that project at church, or I'm going to do, you know, join this small group, and then just, I just don't, you know. It's kind of hard for me to see God being able to elevate a person to the next level with that type of haphazard attitude, you know. Now, does God require everybody to be like Billy, who lives on about a number 8.5 to 10 all the time? I don't know about that, you know, but I do know that he does require consistency.
Yeah, I mean, and I like to use the word, I think for me, the word is urgency.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say rush. And the reason why I don't use my life, because I don't feel rushed. I don't feel like, you know, rush just seem like, to me, I hear, you being irresponsible. Rush is mean, oh my God, I'm fumbling over things.
Like you didn't plan well.
Yeah, it's very strategic, but you know, the urgency is within, you know, to just drive to do what I was created to do. But I'm gonna tell you this, I you know, it's super important to me to have someone to balance me out like you. Yeah, it's beautiful because it helps me, and that's the beauty of dating or being married, is that you're not, whatever you are, they're gonna be the opposite, and do not try to conform that person into who you are. Yeah, I had the battle of that. I believe, you know, I don't know if all relationships do that, but early on it's like, we're nothing alike, you know? Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? Why can't you just do it the way I do it? Why you don't think the way I think? It's like, well, we don't need another Billy, or we don't need another Helena. Right. You know, in this relationship. And, what do you think there are any gauges while you're dating that can reveal to you whether someone is consistent or not? Like, if someone is like inconsistent, like you're dating, you know, is there any signs you look for, like while you're dating?
Yes, I would have to say there are definitely signs. People are, I say it all the time, people are showing you who they are the whole entire time you're with them. And consistency or the lack of it is something you can definitely see and know before you marry somebody. I think that, I don't know that inconsistency is a deal breaker, unless it's, again, consistency or inconsistency covers such a broad spectrum of the relationship. I guess it depends in what area they're being inconsistent and to what degree.
What areas for you would be like, nope, I can't do this. You're inconsistent in this area.
For me, because I'm a Christian and I live my life from a biblical worldview, inconsistency in a person's spiritual walk and growth process is like, that would be a major red flag for me in dating. As a matter of fact, it was the reason why I stepped away from relationships in the past before you and I were together is because I can't.
There was others?
Oh my God.
Are you
because
serious?
Not I wouldn't put S's on that or anything. I'm just going, people or a person or whatever. Anyway, that's not
I'm
the point.
confused here, but okay.
That's not the point. The point is
That's my point. But yeah.
I would think, I need you to be consistent on your growth process and on your walk with Christ.
Because some people may say, like, I am growing. How can you gauge my relationship with God? How do you know? We're in this world where often people, they determine their relationship with God based on how they feel or based on what they think. What would be some gauges or red flags in their personal relationship with God that would say to you, you're inconsistent in your relationship with God, man?
Yeah, I would think, struggling with the same sin for forever and ever and ever and ever, and never gaining victory. Now, don't get me wrong. I understand from the time we get saved until the time we see Jesus face to face, we're going to always have some kind of a struggle, some kind of a battle. But there also should be victories. There also should be overcoming things, And I think that if, there's something that a person is struggling with and it's hindering this relationship, and all they're coming to the table with is, I'm sorry. Well, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. No, bro, I'm gonna need you to bring some change to the table. And if there isn't any change, and if it's always an I'm sorry, and they're so sincerely sorry, but there's no real change, then you're showing me you don't want to consistently do what it takes to change. Now, the question should be after that is, can I live with that? For the rest of my life, So is that an inconsistency that I can live with? Now, if the answer is no, well, if you're dating someone, you do have that beautiful privilege of walking away and remaining friends, or walking away and just walking away, But
if you're married,
then you're that's where your prayer closet is going to come in very big handy. You're going to have to seek God on behalf of your mate and ask the Lord to help them to see it how you see it, how it's affecting you and your family. How that inconsistency is hindering what God wants to do in and through this family. And I think that, again, it just depends on what area of inconsistency this is, Now, if a person, it just depends. I mean, like I said, consistency is so important, and it covers such a broad spectrum of a relationship.
But in this is you're talking about a relationship with God, which is so important. I think this
that's
a major role. And I'm happy that you brought this up, because I was in a counseling session, I think last month. And this individual's in a toxic relationship, and the toxicity has overflowed into this individual's relationship with God as well. It's caused them to have, a lot of trauma internally. And the individual was talking about how they don't want to walk away because it seems as if they're giving up on the person. I said, wow, there's people that think like that at this time. And that's not any shade being thrown. I'm saying I love to find out how people are thinking. Like, okay, how is Generation Z thinking? How is millennials thinking? How are different groups of people thinking? And so I was like, So I asked more questions, and the individual said, well, I don't want to give up on this person, because their walk is not up to par. And I'm thinking, like, they're not married yet. And so I do believe that there's, I'm a preacher and a pastor, so I think there's two different perspectives I've seen people have that really has hindered relationship. We said relationship. We're not talking about salvation.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying? So salvation, people experience the Lord and their spirit is regenerated and they ask Jesus to come live inside their heart, which was empty and void, and now it's filled with the Spirit of God.
Yeah.
Okay, now you go on a journey of sanctification, which is spiritual growth, and you begin to start either letting go, cooperating with God, finding freedom in areas, you know, and what you're saying is, it sounds like, okay, they're saved, but they're just resisting the sanctification process. So this don't mean they're going to hell.
Right.
This don't mean giving up on them means like, oh, they're cast away now.
Yeah.
This just means that we're unevenly yoked in the growth process. We're both saved, but I got a choice now to decide whether I want to deal with your inconsistencies and let that affect me and my walk. And since we're dating, now once you get married, I love that you said that part, because once you get married, it's like, oh my gosh, like, you know, and I'm gonna tell you, you're not gonna see all the inconsistencies until you get real up close and personal. You move in the house.
Until you live together.
Oh my God, you date their personality, you marry their character, right?
Period.
And so once you see their character up close and personal, I love that you said, you know, you got to find a place in your prayer closet.
Yeah, you do. Because at this point, you know, unless there's a grounds for divorce type thing, and if there is, why would you marry a person, you know, in the first place to just be divorced? It's just about working it out from that point on. After you say I do, you know, you're basically saying I sign up for this, you know, I'm here for that, you know, and people don't really understand the depths and the levels of that until you get into marriage, you know, and you start seeing, oh my gosh, this inconsistency in your walk with Christ is really hindering what we can do overall with our lives and make a difference in this world, you know, and it can be daunting, you know, like it can be shocking, it can be heavy, you know, and you can develop resentment even. I've seen couples develop resentment towards their spouse because they feel like, you know, they're the reason why we can't advance in the work of the Lord and things like that. And again,
in life in general.
In life in general,
right.
Yep.
Let me ask you this, because I know you're about to go in, but we are bent on saying that every moment matters. I really would love for you to share with our audience, our marriage moment, followers, a moment. I just want you to be transparent, you know, about our marriage, a moment where you've had to pray through in our marriage because of an inconsistency or something that you really didn't agree with in me. Not like an act that I was about to do, but in me. And I just really want you to be transparent and just be honest with the people, because I think that's where, you know, because people are really impressed by your strengths, but people are attracted by your weaknesses. People are attracted to your weakness. People really are attracted to say, wow, he's real too, he's human too. Just go ahead and just be transparent about an area maybe. And I know this is off the cuff, this is not in our notes, this is not anything that we planned, but I would just love, you know, just on your heart, like, man, I've had to pray through this because of X, Y, and Z with Billy.
I would have to say, like, because you live like so intensely all the time, you know, and I feel like, does this situation merit that level of emotion, you know? And it was extremely annoying in the beginning because I didn't know you, I didn't understand you, you know. Right. And
let me pause. And this is after dating for almost 3 years. This doesn't mean she didn't do her homework. When you marry someone, you're not really going to know them entirely.
Yep. And so that really caused me to just be like, okay, let me back up and say, because you live at such a high intense level of emotion, everything like say just a simple task of clearing the dinner table or something, you know, I'm moving at my pace, you know, I'm done eating, I'm gonna get up, I'm gonna clear the table, you'll get up, move stuff around, be shuffling, go to the sink, wash the dishes, go over, and I'm just like, why are you moving so fast? Like, where are we going? Like, what, and I just could not understand it. Like, I'm just like, you can just pick that up and put it there. Everything doesn't have to be, so super fast. And I had to pray about it because it started to make me feel like you were saying you're not doing enough. You're not moving fast enough. You're not keeping this house clean. You're not doing, being a good wife is what I was interpreting all of that as, and it started to make me feel, I started to allow that to make me feel like I wasn't good enough. Like, apparently I'm not good enough because he feels like he needs to do all of this stuff. Like, and I'm from a culture where, there was clearly defined men things to do and women things to do in the home. This is apart from our ministry. This is just our home. And I felt like, why are you doing my job? You're saying I can't do my job? Like, what kind of woman do you think I am? And I started taking it personally. And then I started realizing, it was starting to move me towards a bitter place with you. And so I just began to ask the Holy Spirit to help me to understand what is going on here. Like, because I had a narrative playing in my head, and because belief drives behavior, I started to shrink. Just shrink back and just be like, okay, bro, like, whatever you want to do, just go ahead and do that. Not having any real input into our marriage at that point, not being a helpmate, like, not even just with household stuff, but just in decision making, just kind of dumped everything, like, bro, just do it, because I don't have time. I don't know if I can produce an answer that you want in this 30 seconds that we have to make this life-changing decision according to you. I just felt like I was just becoming smaller and smaller, in the marriage. And then, so I just started praying and asking the Lord, to help me to have, like, what am I supposed to do? Like, how do I fix this, so to speak? And I just remember God, just kind of helping me through my mom's words, actually, because she shared with me the importance of getting to know you as a person. Like, just learn your man, she would tell me, just learn your man, not who you want him to be, who you think he should be, or so-and-so's husband is this or that. No, your man, learn him. And so as I started to take a step back and, God began to just kind of, he brought that conversation with my mom to my remembrance, and then he just started helping me walk through what that meant, and then I just, in doing that, he empowered me to be able to just accept you for who you were. Like, okay, if you're gonna want to rush and clean off the table after we're eating, go for it, bro. One thing I did learn, though, is in your rushing, you only gonna do half the job. You know what I'm saying? Like, you gonna bring the stuff to the sink, you put it in the sink, you wash it and leave it on this side of the sink, not rinse it, not put it away. And I'm just like, I don't understand this, but I'll just pick up right here and finish the task or whatever, because you moved on to something else by then, And so that was a part of learning you. And so just and that helped in a whole bunch of other areas, just learning you. Okay, that's where he's at, that's what he wanted to do. And it was never anything like hurtful or sinful or anything like that. It was just those moments in marriage where you're just like, who the heck is it? Why is this, what kind of an environment did you come, that kind of things that you just ask yourself in marriage, I mean, and I think that me just saying, okay, Lord, I'm not going to shrink into this dark place that I'm headed towards. I want to fight against that by creating the marriage that I want to see, and that had to start with me. I had to own my role in it. And that's what I did, and like I said, I had the privilege of having a mother who poured into me positive things about marriage and modeled you being a beautiful wife. My parents had a very real marriage. They argued about stuff and they disagreed about things, but at the end of the day, they were going to ask for forgiveness and come back together as a unit, Yeah. And so I had that modeled, and so I know everybody doesn't, but if you can get with mentors or get with someone who has a healthy relationship so they can show you what that is, I'm saying that to say that's what I gleaned on in that moment, in those moments.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, and it sounded like you really, didn't allow yourself to overanalyze, but you prayed as well. The Holy Spirit had something to pull from, which was a model, a marriage that was modeled before you. I think, it's so important. I think Helena just now highlighted something very special. It's so important to know your spouse.
Yeah.
Because you can have a misinterpretation of someone, and how many times have we done that just anywhere?
Yeah.
We've looked at someone and we already sized them up. We already identified who we thought they were or what they meant.
Yeah.
And we didn't even take time to get to know someone. I think we're in a season now where, it's high-speed internet, social media, all, public figures. It's what it seems to be so much. Like people present something to you through a post or a video or going live or TikTok or reel. And so they present something, and now, you go on the assumption that this is who they are.
Yeah.
And it's so prevalent now that we just don't dig deep enough. And in a marriage, you're gonna have to dig deep.
Yeah.
You have to get to know that person individually. You don't want to make assumptions. And one of the things that's beautiful about marriage is God is not really concerned about your happiness as much as he's concerned about holiness. Holiness is the goal. Happiness is a byproduct of your holiness.
Yeah.
Holiness first, happiness second. As you pursue holiness, as it sounded like you were pursuing holiness, asking the Holy Spirit, hey, what do you want me to do?
Yeah.
And God ministering to you, you came to a place because holiness is accepting. You're going to accept people for who they are.
Yeah.
And somewhere in there, I think that we can become overcritical of people.
Yeah, for sure.
That's humanity. That's human nature. You see something, you just size it up immediately. Someone, walking up to you, you've already prejudged them. Where we get the word prejudice. We prejudge someone in the supermarket. We prejudge the way they're walking up to us, the body language, the facial expression. We're already coming up with, oh my God, this is where they're at. And you don't know really where they're at. Until you take a deep dive. And I'm so grateful for your love, one, for the Lord, and then two, your love for just the sanctity of marriage in me also, to get to understand me. One, and I'm going to go into a transparent mode now. As a pastor, as a leader that's been doing the leading for well over 18 years, people rarely take time to get to know you.
Yeah.
They just rarely do that. They're either trying to present to you what they think you want or how they think you want this presented. It's just authenticity is rare when you get into leadership. The higher you go in leadership, the lower the authenticity is around you. Especially if you're leading people, yes, sir, Pastor. It's like you get a lot of that, and it's like, wow, I just wish you would be you. You know what I mean? Because I want to be me. I really want to be me, but I don't even know if you can handle me. You know what I mean? Like I don't know if you would even accept me. And so when you've done that, I've told you numerous of times, like how much love oozed out of you of just accepting me for me, because rarely did that happen in my life. Most people get a big major misunderstanding. They call it discernment, or they think that they know who I am. It's like, okay, just you could ask me and I'm going to be truthful.
Yeah,
I'm not going to act like I'm not going to say one thing and mean another, because my integrity towards the Lord, I just won't allow me to just try to present something that's false to you. So that meant the world to me. And I think that in the marriage or in dating, one of your best assets is your authenticity. And if you're authentic while you're dating, it may not be a fit. You can walk away and say, hey, we're friends. We had a great time. I think everyone dating is like, I'm at a certain age, I have to marry you.
Oh, yeah.
I'm 34, I have to marry you now because we're dating. It's like, no, you don't. Maybe you walk away. We're Christians. You don't have to be bitter towards them.
Yeah.
It didn't work out. But bring your authentic self. Don't present someone else. Like I said earlier, you typically date someone's personality, but what if we came through the door dating someone's character?
Oh, wow. Now that's a novel concept. And I will say this, that all of this, that's why basically what you're saying is consistency. You know, being consistent, even in your pursuit of getting to know someone else, because you can get tired of that. I'm gonna be honest, but if you're tired of going on a journey to get to know your person.
Oh yeah.
You know, so there's another twist on consistency. You know, because the longer, and this is for people who've been together for a long time, the longer that you're with someone, you assume you know that person.
Ooh.
You assume you know that person because, well, we've been together 18 years.
And what if that person is growing?
And we're praying that that person
right.
is growing.
If that person is growing,
we're praying that they're evolving. That everybody is on a growth journey, because, like, again, until we see Jesus face to face, that we're always going to be in a position where we're having to overcome something. So that's growth, right? And so I think that when couples have been together for a long time, you assume you know that person, and what that produces is you begin to lock them into a space and time that they time capsule them off, and you're just assuming that that's their response, that's how they are, that's how they're always going to be, and
because they responded that way 2 years ago.
Yes. Yeah, you know, I mean, and you're just not extending to them the grace that, of course, you would like to receive in order to be someone else, you know. And so, and a lot of times, they live up to that, you know, like, okay, well, you assume I'm this person, let me go and give you who you think I am. You don't even know me anymore, you know. And that's a whole nother spin on why being consistently going on a journey to get to know your mate is so important.
Yeah,
you know?
Because you've been consistent at certain characteristics, just the base of who you are. But this month, help us celebrate, will be our 15th year. June the 26th, we'll be married 15 years. Come on now. I'm so excited about that. So this month is our anniversary month.
It is.
In October will be 18 years we've been dating.
Yeah.
We started
together.
We've been together. We started dating October the 31st, 2007. So it'll be 18 years dating, because I didn't stop dating her after we got married. We had date night last night. We had a great time.
Yes, we did.
But you're not the same person I married.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? You're not. Like, there are some core things that, you know, which is good. That consistency that is very important.
It's almost like you have to be consistent to stay the same and consistent to change.
Yeah.
It's like you have to, there's some things you just stand 10 toes down for consistently always, but there's things that you're consistently changing and growing and evolving in as well.
Absolutely.
So I think that that definitely is a balance that only the Lord and the Holy Spirit can help you to maintain.
And that dichotomy, right? Of I'm gonna be consistently me. This is who I'm bringing to, but I'm also evolving, and please give me grace to get to know this new person that have overcome so much. And that's one of the things that I have a battle with, that people like that knew me 17 years ago, or we were like together 15 years ago. It's like, okay, that's not fair. You think I'm that same person? Like, that is not cool. I know you. It's like, I'm just assuming you're not the same person.
Right, it's literally been a decade.
Yeah, I'm assuming you're different.
Yeah.
I'm trying to learn you all over again. So just to close this up, as we close up, you said a red flag is like not being consistent in your relationship with God. Can you give me some more red flags if someone's dating, just to close up? What are some other red flags you would look for, and your antennas would go up if someone was inconsistent in that area?
I would say in money. If you're inconsistent with your finances.
Oh my!
Money
is always a revealer of the heart. It's a magnifier of the heart. Okay, that's good.
So I would say if they're inconsistent with money, like, bro, you got a job this month, 2 months from now, you ain't got no job. Like, what is going on? You know.
So and then you got a job, but you never have money. You always have financial problems.
Yep.
Okay.
So I would say money, and then I would say just like your word. Like, if you say that we're going to do whatever, you know, we need to be doing that. Or if you say for people who have kids, single moms, single dads, you say, you know, you're going to spend time with your kid, you need to spend time with your kids.
Wow.
You know?
So if you're inconsistent with your relationship with God, that's one. If you're inconsistent with finances, you don't handle money well. If you're inconsistent with your word, and if you're inconsistent in like your parental,
your word, it all encompasses like your parental responsibilities, your commitment to this relationship with things you've said out of your mouth. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like,
so your word, but then I think I'm giving it a whole category because it's your word.
Okay, yeah.
But your parental responsibilities. If you're inconsistent in taking care of your own kids, and then you want to get into this relationship with me, okay. I feel like that's a whole nother. So that's a good start. So if you're dating and you got someone, they don't want to take care of their kids, they're very inconsistent. Now there are some unique situations, so please hear me out. But you know where they're co-parenting and the other parent does not want them to have anything to do with the kids. Okay, there are some, you know, special cases we totally understand. But if you have the ability to take care of your children, it would be good to be consistent at it.
Absolutely.
Because you're looking at what kind of parent they're going to be if you guys build a life. Yep. Okay. Obviously, they could change things like that, but why put yourself in that situation? Okay. Also, talking about getting married, you know, not just dating, but if you're talking about dating and evolving to, you know, being engaged and then obviously getting married and building a life. So kids, do your word. Oh my God. That's so good.
Yep. You need to keep your word.
Gotta keep your word. Gosh. I always say,
which I think keeping your word kind of encompasses accountability. Like being a person who's willing to be accountable, you know. I know that like for us, like we don't track each other or anything like that because that's a little weird to me. But
some is a little creepy. Like I always have to share my location. I share my location. Elena can't even find it, right?
I don't even know.
A long time ago.
Like, but it always like never pops up. But anyway.
But I communicate. I'm leaving the gym, headed to the house.
Yeah.
Hey, just now finished that meeting. We're great. I'll see you later on.
Yeah.
Hey, I mean, it's just like constant. And you never told me I have to do that.
Right.
That would be weird. I probably won't do it.
Right.
Right. But I just do it. Just because, hey, this is a consistent thing. What would be weird if I didn't do that, right?
Yeah.
If you didn't hear from me throughout the day, what would be your mind?
I would be like, is he okay? Like, did he fall out somewhere? Is he conscious? So that would be your word. Your parental responsibilities, your word, which encompasses being a person who's willing to be accountable and take responsibility, and finances, and then your walk with Christ.
I think finances is one thing, and we've said this before, we didn't talk about a lot. Prior to us
no, we didn't.
Getting together. You told me something about some, you know, student loans or something. That is as far as we went when it comes to, and you were like saying, I don't want to get with you. I don't want to, not I don't want to get with you, but I don't want to get married until I get that taken care of. I'm like, no, I mean, it's us, you know? And so we tackled that and been tackling that since we come together like financially as a team. But we thank you so much. Go ahead and celebrate our 15th year anniversary by sharing this content. Share it. I mean, it would mean the world to us if you share, because we believe every moment matters. Even the moment that Helena shared about me and my urgency and me moving fast. I mean, that moment mattered. Why? Because it brought her to the knees of Jesus, and it brought me to realize, okay, I need to be aware of my movement, the way I move, and the way I don't want her to ever feel as if she's less than or she's not taking care of her responsibility as a wife. She is an amazing wife. I got the best wife in the world, and so just share this content, please, because this will mean the world to us. Anything in closing you want to share?
I would say thank you guys for joining us, and work on being consistent. The thing about consistency is you can always work on it. It's not set in stone. It's just a matter of you. What would you preach on Wednesday night? A made up mind, the power of a made up mind. And so if you could just grasp that, you can always make changes. And when you're committed to making changes, that's the greatest thing.
A little shameless plug, she said I preached on Wednesday. Go to the Well Community Church and
Yep.
go ahead and like our YouTube page and go check that out.
Yeah, it's really good.
Power of a made up mind. Well, we've made up our mind. This is over. It's done.
It's done. We're
finished.
outta here.
Had a great time. God bless you guys. Love you.
Thanks for
this
joining
is the
us.
Islands, Marriage Moments with the Islands, because every moment
Matters.
yes, it does. God bless you.